Right, we've had some luck. Stephen Barnes joining us on the line from Hong Kong. How are you doing today?
I'm all right, Mr. Black. I'm all right.
Excellent. So today we're making up for Friday. Again, electricity problems this end of the world. But today we're going to talk about tribes.
Well, it's another Seth Godin masterpiece, right? A paragon of clear thinking when he wrote that book, "Tribes, We Need You to Lead Us." I believe it was called. And essentially, what Seth Godin is articulating here is that in the connection economy, where everybody's got ubiquitous connectivity, the opportunities for individuals who have let's say, a leadership capability in one particular area, one particular expertise, one niche. If they put themselves out there on the web, demonstrating that they're prepared to take a leadership role in relation to that particular expertise or that niche, and you essentially make art, as he says, and that means basically putting yourself into putting yourself in a position where ultimately you can help people answer the questions, solve their problems, and attain the objectives that they've got in life. Those people that are also interested in that niche, interested in that material, who don't have anywhere else to get access to that material and that expertise, and B, are ready to recognize you as the sort of a leader or an authentic source in relation to that material and that niche and that expertise, then you have yourself, you have the ability to create, as Seth calls it, a tribe. And tribes are a phenomenon of the connection economy. There's certainly been a phenomenon of society for since humankind has been organizing itself. But now that we've got ubiquitous connections, you can take the dynamics of tribes that are found in normal sort of human activity, and then bring them into the realm of the internet and the connection economy activity, because people can find you, and because they'll find you, they will organize themselves around you. So ultimately, it's kind of like the pinnacle of leadership, and being able to generate a tribe around your particular expertise and what you're good at, and that has proven to be the case very much so with us in the Hong Kong Visa Centre. Because with the Hong Kong Visa Centre, before I showed up and told everybody through our internet presence that A, I existed, and B, I knew what I was talking about, the individuals that have now collectively gone on to amount to our tribe, which is more than 150,000 strong altogether, have naturally begin to sort of organize themselves around the proposition that I represent, both in terms of the Hong Kong Visa Geezer idea virus, which we've discussed before, and also the Hong Kong Visa Centre as being a place where they can go and get professional assistance with the problem that they've got, or move on to our Hong Kong Visa Handbook, which is where you get your do-it-yourself guide to the Hong Kong immigration process. So in essence, what you have there is the dynamics of a modern-day tribe, a la Seth Godin, all resulting from ubiquitous connections and the reality of the connection economy.
Now, how would you transition somebody who was a part of your visa tribe into, say, your marketing tribe? Because if you think about visas, you may, in Hong Kong especially, you would have a requirement to renew, and then after a period of 7 years, you would have no further need to renew unless you were bringing somebody else in. But you would obviously want to keep that connection in one way or another. And if you transformed your business or opened a new one, how do you then bring the relevance of visa tribe membership to another platform?
A great question. You may or may not be able to do it because tribes are self-organizing. So no doubt there'll be a percentage of the 150,000 strong immigration tribe that we've got who would be interested in the ideas enunciated intelligent content marketing, and the tribe that we're engendering now to build around that notion. But because tribes are self-organizing, you can't naturally bring somebody in from one to the other. You just have to, through permission marketing, make them aware that this is the new string to your bow. and then continue to either deliver value because they're interested in getting more information from you about this, and they then become a member of that tribe in due course, or because you adopt permission marketing techniques, they do one click unsubscribe, and then you stop sending the materials, and that way you've maintained the integrity of both your immigration tribe, and you haven't gotten anybody's nerves by trying to fish them into a non-immigration tribe, recognizing that the reason why we've got a relationship with them in the first place was through the immigration piece. But having said that, when we go fishing for new tribe members on the intelligent content marketing side, we do that in a completely different way than we go about, trying to bring people into the immigration tribe.
Now, do the members of the tribe know other members of the tribe if it's self-organizing? Do they are they part of that tribe because other people are also part of that tribe, so therefore they're validated?
But all of the above. It just depends on the nature of your material and to what extent ownership of the medium, if you will, of the ideas, everything associated with the materials in the niche, if that is capable of being self-managed by the tribe itself, then they will go off and do that. In the immigration space, it doesn't really happen because what people tend not to have sort of bilateral discussions outside of me, so to speak, when it comes to immigration, because it's usually a sort of a one-to-one type tribe dynamic. In intelligent content marketing, of course, it's something completely different. All I can do is put myself out there and give the potential tribe an understanding of what this thing called intelligent content marketing is really all about. And then set them loose on having discussions, and certainly I'll participate in those discussions, but it's much more likely that there will be the tribe itself talking to itself, whilst obviously looking to me and the notion of intelligent content marketing for guidance and inspiration. But it'll be probably just as much a community thing as it will be just a one-to-one thing.
And are there any dangers of it falling apart? If you have a look at any of the news platforms out there where they give people the ability to comment, it really gets ugly a lot of the time. I mean, would you say that's a tribe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing about there's a difference between a tribe on the one hand and basically a collection of individuals who are just going to perhaps participate in one or two comment exchange on the social media forum because they're venting or expressing an opinion. If you've got a genuine tribe, you've got deep, meaningful interest in the subject matter for one reason or another, and you've got a need to continue to sort of access the group tribe, if you will, led by the leader. In order to progress the objectives that you've got by identifying yourself as being a member of that tribe in the first place. So when it comes to the immigration piece, then there's very little chance that it's going to get out of hand on any of my forums because we administer them. Likewise, when it comes to the intelligent content marketing tribe, we're managing all of that via a Facebook closed group. So we have the ability to obviously monitor that and make sure that the contributions that are being made are respectful and add value to everybody else and don't turn into the typical sort of social media bun fight.
And would you say it's advisable for these groups, especially if it's an open platform, to actually turn off the comments? Or do you think it's better that people have the ability to say what they think?
You mean on Facebook or
yes,
on the WordPress platform, Jason?
On Facebook.
Well,
and YouTube
you can decide. Well, exactly. And at the end of the day, you've got the ability to determine, the quality of the dialogue, right? So my advice would be to monitor and control the quality of the dialogue and use the technical aspects of the various platforms to make sure that only reasonable contributions are being made. And as I say, it doesn't turn into a social media bum fight.
And the important thing for most people is, how do you monetize this now?
Well, you're not monetizing a tribe per se. What you're doing is you're setting out a proposition where you want to answer questions and help solve problems. When you do that, the tribe will find you. They'll organize themselves around you, and inimical to your proposition, you've built in a monetization strategy. That's what intelligent content marketing is all about, right? I've said before, we sell peace of mind. So our entire tribe generation activities are designed ultimately to settle on the value catalysts of where we deliver peace of mind and we get compensated for delivering that peace of mind. So you wouldn't ordinarily set out wanting to create a tribe and then thinking about how you're going to monetize it. A sensible intelligent content marketing strategy says to you, yes, what will result from intelligent content marketing is a tribe, and you've designed and built in from the get-go your monetization dynamic, because it's the essence of your business model, and that's kicked off from the get-go, and it just so happens that a tribe results from all those efforts.
One of the things I've always found interesting with what you've done with the Hong Kong Visa Center is to actually also put news from other sources out there. So if the Immigration Department release something, if there's something in the South China Morning Post, you will then put that on and then bring your expert opinion to that piece. Do you think that's an advisable thing? I think that the term that everybody uses, curating, which I despise. But
no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No man is an oracle, right? So there's plenty of other good stuff going on around you and your niche that you'd be willing to share and bring to the attention of your tribe, because it will add value to them. The one thing that that resonates from building a tribe is that you are a leader, and leaders basically do what they need to do to ensure that the interests of the tribe are being properly sort of promulgated. And if that on occasion means bringing to their attention material that isn't origin value but is clearly going to have a lot of value, then you must certainly send that to your tribe and let them understand that that's available for them, and again helping them achieve their objectives, which is why they've organized around you in the first place.
And what other ways could you suggest that people put themselves out there in terms of marketing? I know you do a lot on the internet, and you also do radio and also TV production. So if you were just a normal guy in the street with a business and you wanted to form a tribe or allow a tribe to form around you, what marketing would you do to start off with?
Well, okay. I figure out what exactly is the value that you deliver, and how can you articulate what you do so that value can be received by the biggest number of people possible, and then design what you're doing to be found by the people that are naturally interested in that stuff. So it's classic intelligent content marketing strategy in terms of identifying what it is that knowing what it is that you sell. Producing a content proposition that helps people answer questions and solves problems, and then make sure that your material can be found where the tribe hangs out, so that they have an opportunity to find their way into you. They can then understand the value that you represent, and then you can forge a relationship and generate your tribe on the strength of those activities. And you win your relationships, Jason, one at a time. Everybody seems to think that, when you start off on a strategy like this using the internet in a smart way, that you should be expecting to get 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 people coming at you left, right, and center. That's not the case at all. The thing about building a tribe is that you now, through the internet and the ubiquitous connectivity, have the ability to reach all the outliers. It's no longer, average stuff for average people to try and get the middle 60, 70% of a population who used to be the target audience for stuff in the industrial economy. In the connection economy, it's about reaching out to individuals and identifying what it is that they need. And as I say, you win your relationships one at a time.
Okay, so starting out, go for the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's difficult for me to be general here, because you were talking about every area of economic activity. So, if you're starting out with for example, a professional service, and what it is that you're selling as a result of delivering that professional service, then, at risk of repeating myself, produce a content proposition that's designed to help answer questions and help solve problems. Do what we did, for example, produce a do-it-yourself kit, and then deliver that do-it-yourself kit to everybody just for the cost of an email address, so you can in then turn have a relationship with them on an ongoing basis, both in terms of advising them when you've put new content onto your blog, and also just being able to deliver new value to them on an ongoing basis as and when that new value has been materialized in your business and you now want to share it more widely. So as an intelligent content marketeer, you're in the professional services space, you're inevitably going to be producing content on an ongoing basis. So each time that you produce a piece of content that you know is going to add value to any member of your tribe, then you share it out with your tribe accordingly, and then you begin to build the size of your tribe incrementally over time.
Okay, if you want to talk about professional services rather than visas for a second, I know that you were instrumental in developing of another great Hong Kong brand called Dragon Law, if I remember. Now that follows that same sort of principle where you are taking a old-fashioned legal profession and bringing it into a connection economy model. Is that correct?
Well, I've only collaborated with Dragon Law. It's not a company of mine, James.
Sure, no, I know that.
I'm not a director of it. Yeah.
I know, but
so Dragon Law, Dragon Law is a little bit different. What Dragon Law have done is that they've produced an online engine that contains between 50 and 100 standard legal contracts and legal documentation templates. There's all sort of cookie cutter. And in exchange for a subscription fee each year, you get access to that library of templates and also a document building engine. So in essence, what you get is a kind of like a wizard do-it-yourself guide to producing, say, an employment contract or a shareholders agreement or a non-disclosure agreement. And as you use that service, you populate certain fields denoting the identity of the parties and the length of the agreement and that kind of stuff. And then when you push a button at the end of it, you get a 16-page beautifully crafted contract or legal document that you can use in pursuit of your commercial endeavors. But what Dragon Law have done there is that they've recognized that going individually as a business owner or an individual to a solicitor to get a piece of work done that's just general legal document drafting, knowing that lawyers themselves work from templates in any event, rather than paying them, 7,000 or 8,000 Hong Kong dollars for a particular individual document, you can pay, say, 16,000 Hong Kong dollars and have an annual subscription and be able to produce as many documents against their templates as you like in that time. So to the extent that Dragon Law have disrupted the way that solicitors do their thing, they have done that using that model. They have a content strategy that is a little bit different from ours. Their content strategy revolves around explaining the use of legal documents and when they might be suitable for you in your business, which makes perfect sense. But it doesn't mean that they can generate a sort of a proposition that's answering questions and solving problems in the way that we do, just because we're on the advisory side and they're basically on the software as a service side. But yeah, they have disrupted, and I think that they're doing very well indeed. Last time I spoke to the CEO, I think they got about 20,000 subscribers, which is pretty good, actually, for a business like that.
Now, you said you've got upwards of 150,000. How long did that take to get?
Yeah. Well, the 7 years that we've been in practice.
And is that a good growth, or is it an astronomical growth?
Well, it's really very good. If you figure that there's 48,000 people in Hong Kong at any one point in time who would want to buy a product from us or would need access to the type of information that we offer. Over 7 years, having generated a tribe of, actually it's more than 150,000 now. But we get between 250 and 350 new relationships every day at this point. So the growth is really starting to become exponential in type of a small way. Given that the market for Hong Kong immigration is only so big, right? It's like, how many people are interested in bottle washing in Darwin, Lancashire? No, there may be a potential tribe there of several hundred, if not maybe 1,000 people, and that would be the end of it. Well, the same sort of phenomenon applies to Hong Kong immigration. There's only there's a finite number of people in any given year that's going to be naturally interested in the material that we have and the information that we share. So given the total sort of size of our tribe thus far, and the visitors to our websites that we get each day, I think it's pretty solid. The number that we've got, I think 150,000 over 7 years is not bad at all.
And do you have the ability to have a an understanding of where people are hitting you from, and what percentage would you say are local in Hong Kong and overseas, given that visas are obviously something that applies to expatriates?
Yeah, it's 60% local, 40% international. And we know, as far as Google will tell us, we basically know where every single visitor is coming from up to one degree or another. We know which countries they're coming from. We know what content they're accessing. We know how long they're staying on the individual pages. We know which pages they're visiting, as they come onto the site and click 2 or 3 times and then go off the site. So yeah, Google Analytics gives you access to all of that information, and that's proven to be a huge point of differentiation between us and our competitors, because if you have a content platform like that where your tribe is giving you the data, daily, weekly, monthly, annually like that, you get insights into the marketplace that your competition simply don't have access to those insights, because they don't have the content platform to be able to derive those insights. That puts you, streets ahead of them in terms of developing new, disruptive and innovative service propositions.
Now, if you are analyzing the data, are you creating content to talk specifically to where you are most being asked those questions, or are you bolstering things that are not getting as much attention as you'd like?
No, because we've got more than 10,000 pieces of content now. We've covered every potential area of Hong Kong immigration that I think we could ever want to write about several times over. We don't use our content now to specifically, drive decisions as to additional content that we need to make to get more traffic. What we will do is we'll look to see what people are generally interested in, which is trending, and then we'll make a decision. Okay, let's write a piece on one subject rather than another. I'll give you an example of how we would have we get insights that will give us opportunities to think about doing similar things. I wrote an article called "Why I Hate the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme and You Should Too." Now, I did that because I hate the program. The vast majority of people that apply for that program and use our websites to access our material about that, they all come from India. And frankly, because of the way that the ecosystem of Indian immigration consultants in India who sell, quality of life migration services to myriad jurisdictions, including Hong Kong, via the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme program, I wanted to make sure that my inbox was not going to be completely overwhelmed with all these people from India who we're never going to get instructions from. And in fact, we don't even want to do the work for the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme visa because it's just too hard to try and glean anything from the interactions that you have with the Immigration Department during the currency of those applications. Just too hard. It's the only visa type that amounts to being a total black box. So truth is, we can't really add much value to that. So I wrote that piece called Quality Migrant Admission Scheme, Why I Hate It and You Should Too, for those very purposes. And I'm able, through monitoring our metrics, knowing exactly how many people were sort of deflecting, if you will, away from the practice as a result of that piece of content. Another example of insights that we're able to glean is a piece that I wrote called Checking the Status of Your Hong Kong Visa Application Online. Yeah, right. And basically what I did there was I wrote an article on what it's like to use the Hong Kong Immigration Department's online case progress checking system, which is very antiquated. And when you dig through all of the various clicks that you need to get through to get the answer that you need, it just tells you one of 3 pieces of information. It tells you the application is approved, the application has been refused, or the application is closed. It's as simple as that. So whilst it's useful to the extent that it saves you trying to track down an immigration officer to get an answer to a question, is my case approved yet or not, it really doesn't serve much purpose. So what I did was I wrote this piece basically explaining how the system works and being a tad critical of it. And then, as a result of that, what we've done is we've effectively hijacked all of the traffic that is being used or is searching for the online system for the Hong Kong Immigration Department, because the Immigration Department haven't really configured that to be found in a very efficient way via a Google search. So now if you're searching for, the ability to check the status of your visa application online, you will find us right at the very top of Google. So people click onto that, they read our short summary of, what it's all about and why, they're going to be a little bit disappointed when they get through the end of the process. But then they get into the system and they can check their application. So, we probably get 70 or 80 visitors a day to our websites just by having hijacked that one particular element of Hong Kong immigration. So here's another example of insights that you can glean as a result of having produced a particular type of a piece of content, and that can then inform the other type of content that you might want to produce that will give an opportunity to draw some traffic in. Another example that I did previously was I called it Forum Follies. I think the caption was something like why it's a bad idea to use to get free advice via a forum on your Hong Kong immigration application. Because I used to look at these forums and do some social listening and find out what was going on. And 50% of the advice that was going on in public forums was accurate, and 50% of the advice was completely crap. The question is, if you're a visa applicant, how do you know which is crap and which is accurate? You don't. So again, as a result of some social listening, I decided to put out that piece of content. So I've given you sort of 3 examples there of how you can use how we use, at least, the development of our content activities, if you will, to speak to other content that we're going to create that will deliver value and obviously with it traffic to our sites.
And do you see any danger in bringing social commentary, be it political or anything like that? I know that in the past you've made comment about same-sex marriages, and in particular when it comes to the visa side of it. Do you think there's a danger if you do run any kind of business that you do make comments on these sorts of things?
I think you have to be smart, right, about what you say and what you do, recognizing the environment that you operate in. My position is about Hong Kong immigration. And because it's Hong Kong immigration, I've been doing it a long time, I've got opinions about things. So I will share my opinions. And if those opinions happen to be, critical of the way the Immigration Department operate, so be it. That's just holding the Immigration Department to account for the public service that they offer. But I don't use my forums to get involved in, I don't use my audience to get involved in other matters not relating to immigration, because frankly, that's not relevant.
Sure.
People are on my sites for Hong Kong immigration and nothing else. What I think about other things is neither here nor there, right?
Well, I meant within the space that you trade. So if the, say, South China Morning Post puts out an article that relates to immigration, but more so as to the politics of same-sex marriage or anything like that, it's still within the realm of what you'll discuss.
Because where I've got opinions, particularly same-sex marriage, the government here should be getting their act together and start being a first world country and recognise that equality is equality, and anything that's less than equal is just a red herring. So absolutely, if it relates to immigration, I jump in there with 2 feet.
Fantastic. All right, Stephen, we'll catch up again on Friday, same time, 10 o'clock. Does that work?
Sounds good to me, sir.
And what are we going to be chatting about? Any thoughts yet?
Not yet. I'll let you know in the meantime.
Fantastic. Have a great day. Thanks very much for joining us.